and welcome to a brand new episode of Nostalgia. I'm joined as always by my immensely talented co-host, Cooper Britton.
Yes.
Welcome.
Exactly. Keep going. Come on.
Nope.
Nope. And cut there, guys.
The reason I say that is because we're talking about you today, mate, aren't we?
Mental. For the first time ever.
I was going to say, I've had plenty of self-indulgent episodes.
I was going to say
about all the films I'm writing and making. I just talk about all those. Today, well, mainly because we haven't been able to talk about half of these until now.
Yeah, that is true.
So
yeah.
Cooper, you've been hard at work.
I'm always hard at work. I say that I've not had proper work for a little while, so I try to work hard.
You are a hard worker.
When I work hard.
Exactly. But
yeah.
So when we started this podcast, you're in your final year of uni.
Yes, I was. God, was it my second? When did we start? February. Yeah, so I was in my second term of final year of uni.
Mm-hmm. So coming towards the final stretch of physics.
Yeah. Somehow.
And then not long after, you find yourself working in locations in the film and TV industry. And
I already knew that I was going into locations by that point.
Okay.
I mean, I guess we just kind of start. We're talking about me today, as we've sort of said. We're going to be talking about like my history of how because we've spoken about me working in the industry. We've spoken about and alluded to like some of the jobs that I've done within the last. It's basically been like 14 months that I've been working now, like full time basically in the industry. And we're going to go through because like all of my credits are out now. Everything is out there. Well,
that's the thing to know, isn't it? It's like we haven't just been avoiding talking about what you've been up to. It's more that the fact that you're NDA'd and you can't.
Yeah.
Whereas I can just waffle about any old shit that I'm doing.
The jobs that I've done that I will be credited for, what I call like permanent full contracts, where I've done a job from the very beginning to the very end. I have a credit for. You can go on IMDb, you can watch them, you'll see my name. We're going to talk about them today because they are, one of them's releasing currently, but the rest of them are out. So we're going to allude on them. We're going to allude on some of the other little bits that I've done that I can kind of maybe talk a little bit about. There's a couple more recently that I just cannot talk about at all, but we will definitely talk about them at some point. So
still being secretive.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. NDAs are wild. Being under like 5 different NDAs is crazy.
Do you feel the weight of that on your shoulders?
The first one I ever signed, I was so stressed.
Yeah.
Like I think coming from like growing up from like a YouTube standpoint, like I already knew NDAs because when YouTubers go and do pre-releases and stuff like that, like they sign NDAs for games and all that kind of stuff. And growing up with as a Call of Duty kid and all that kind of stuff, like the YouTubers I used to watch used to have to sign NDAs to go and play the games early.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew they're a lot less stressful than, as long as you're not stupid.
I was going to say, I can't really think of many famous cases, at least, that NDAs have actually gone to court for someone breaking them.
Not that I can think off the top of my head.
No,
I don't know. I mean, there's been some that,
but it's like almost to the discretion of the production, right? It's like if they want to, they could take you to court if you said anything, so it's not worth the risk. But I have read
like it's always the same NDA that you get sent. So I love how we go straight to the most like touchy part.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting part of it.
It is an introductory part because it's sort of the reason why we haven't talked. Like we're talking about things that happened, that you, like experiences that you had on set 12 plus months ago, maybe slightly less, but around that time, around about a year ago. Yeah. Which, obviously, we've only been doing the podcast for about a year and a half, so it's sort of a big part of, whilst we've been doing the podcast, we spent so many times talking about stuff that you've been working on, but we can't talk about it until now, which is why it's quite an exciting time that you can actually finally
we can talk about
take
some,
the shackles
some
off.
Bits. Yeah.
Insert that meme with someone's breaking the...
I'm going to say they're breaking my chains. That will get used. That will. Yeah. When certain trailers come out for certain projects, that will get used. That meme will get used. But we can go all the way back. Like, I knew that I was... So, I originally wanted to be an AD. I always say I come from an ADing background. Like, I was a runner. I'd been a runner since I was about 16. I've been a third AD. I've thirded feature films. I first did little mini short films. Like,
just for those who don't know, an explanation of what an AD is.
Basically, an AD, also known as an assistant director, is essentially like you kind of are in charge of at higher levels, you're in charge to make sure that the ball keeps rolling, but you're also in charge of making sure that information gets spread correctly. As a runner, you make sure that everybody knows what's coming from the first assistant director all the way through to the third assistant director. Make sure the cast are happy, make sure directors and stuff are happy, essentially. Good. I'd done Dumping Ground, which if you're from the Northeast or you grew up watching Tracy Beaker, you'll probably know what that is. I'd done quite a few days, pickup days on Dumping Ground over, I think between my second and third year, I think I did it. And around that time, basically, I was looking for work. And I was like, hey, like, I was already humming and hawing, being like, maybe like when I finish uni, I go and do this instead of pursuing what I did in my degree. So I messaged. I'm a massive netball baby. I feel like we've got to start the story with that as well. It's the joke I was interested if you were going to mention the netball baby. It's the joke it will one day it will come back to bite me in the arse, and I've said this because one day it will. Like one day someone will use it as a. It will get used. Someone will use it as a dig. So I kind of the joke I always make is I always I will say I always wait a couple of days before the Nepo Baby thing comes out, because at least you can see that because it's notorious that Nepo Babies are like terrible at their jobs and just don't work very hard. I always like to work a couple of days to show that I actually graft and actually do work pretty hard.
Well, that's the thing is, you are a hard worker. You are good at what you do. You care about what you do. You didn't just get handed it on a platter. You
and I'm not even close to what my dad's a director. Was an actor and a director, and I'm so far removed from it. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, so I wanted to be an AD, and then there's a location manager called Mark Valentine, who I work for now. Basically, I messaged him being like, hey, if you've got any days where you need an extra pair of hands, give me a shout. This was literally as summer work in between my years of uni. And he rang me and was like, well, and we were like chatting, and I was like, well, this is what I was thinking about doing. Never even considered locations before, because it's such an underground apartment. Like, pre me working in it, I had no idea it was a thing. No idea it existed. Like, it's a complete underground, like, subsection. Like, nobody ever... there's no Oscar nominations for it. There's no BAFTAs. There's no awards. It's such an underground department, but it's fucking meant. But basically, he was like...
You're a cog in the giant well-oiled machine, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, we are an umbrella for so many different things that, like, if you actually sat down and thought about a production of, like, oh, who does this? It's probably... If it's not obvious, it's probably Locations that does it, or we somehow have a finger in it. Like, that's just how it is. But he was like, if you genuinely want to do this, like, I would love to take you on as a trainee. And I was like, yeah, that's amazing. So he was like, but the one stipulation is you have to finish your degree. You have to get the degree. You can't drop out. And I was like, yep. So I basically grafted all the way through my last year. And then not long after finishing uni, well, not long after leaving uni, did I then start working, and then obviously I'm all my resits. We've talked about that before, that kind of jazz. But yeah, first job in Hartlepool, well, Newcastle, Hartlepool, Middlesbrough kind of area, was I Fought the Law, which is out now, which is fully out now, which is fantastic. It is a true crime drama, very emotional. It's about it's a law called the Double Jeopardy Law, which is like an ancient law, and it's basically, if you get trialed for murder, you used to not be able to be trialed again. That's how it works. If you were found innocent
because I read up about this before we did this episode. I read up about this law and about the context of what the show was about, and it's like one of those things where it's like, this is the perfect kind of TV show for me, because it's like, just educates you on something you had no fucking clue about. And I read it and I was like, no way that was a law. That's mental. Crazy. It's mental, isn't it? Yeah. It's
mad that, like, because I read the scripts, like, I had 1 week's prep before we started shooting, and I read the scripts during that week, and I was generally hooked. I was generally like, I don't know what's going to happen, but there are certain story beats in it that you are like, if you didn't know it was true crime, you would genuinely think it was written. Like, that's the kind of story beats that you hit. Basically, a woman called Anne Ming, lovely woman, she her daughter was murdered, and then they basically were like, we think it's this guy, sent him to trial. 2 juries found it inconclusive, and basically that meant that you're found innocent and are let off. And then he started bragging about getting away with murder, and it's her 20-year journey from like the 80s all the way up until the early 2000s to get this law changed, get him retrialed, and get him actually put in prison for murder. It's wild. Over 4 episodes, hour-long episodes, and it's fantastic. It looks stunning. Locations are great, and it's such an emotional story. It is so well written and it's so powerful. I don't want to spoil it because it genuinely is like, it is crazy the stuff that happens in it and the stuff that, like I said, like you will watch it and go, like you would probably think it's written if it didn't say off the start like this is based on a true story. And yeah, a lot of it was 9-week shoot, I think, and it was majority locations bar like 2.5, 3 weeks in studios here and then. They basically the main house they built, the main house interiors they built. So all the bedrooms, the kitchen, the living room, all that kind of stuff was built for her main house because there's a lot of scenes that take place in it. But apart from that, everything was done out on location. Everything from Durham Cathedral for, oh my God, what's it called? The Houses of Parliament down in London.
Oh, wow.
Used Durham Cathedral for it. Housing streets for house exteriors. Like we did proper house exteriors. We did loads. Set in Billingham, so it's based up north, like it's not far from Hartlepool. So we didn't shoot in Billingham because you can go and see like the house that everything takes place at. But for logistics reasons, we shot at a different place.
So what was your sort of day-to-day role of this then? Sort of, you're working. Are you planning the locations, or are you working under someone who's planned them, and you're kind of what take me through like what's the average day?
So I was a trainee on it, so it was like it's basically like an entry level job. So in locations you have a couple of entry level. I mean, in the industry you have a lot of entry level jobs. Typically they are some sort of department's trainee, whether that's locations trainee, camera trainee, runner, like sound trainee, like all that kind of stuff. Like every department has its form of trainee or some other abbreviation. Locations has another one called a marshal, which is if you have bigger days and you need extra pairs of hands, you'll get marshals in. It's the same money, the same level as a trainee. You're just on a daily rate, whereas a trainee is a permanent contract position again.
Yeah.
So I started off as a trainee, so it would basically be like most days it would be we had 2 vans between like the department, because we carry a lot of different kit that includes, I don't know if you've ever seen easy ups. Easy ups are basically like these tents that you put sides on if it rains, if it's windy, protect monitors so they can see properly, heaters, cleaning for toilets, cleaning for locations. Like the vans are always overfilled. Weights, sides, like we just have every chairs, tables, like the whole shebang. Like we have so much different stuff. Bins, bin bags, that's all us. So it's like usually it would be like being there at the arse crack of dawn. So if call time was 8 o'clock, we are probably there from maybe 6 to half 6. Getting everything set up that we can at the location, whether that is maybe there's flooring that needs protecting, we get bins out, easy ups need putting up prior, need to source power for something, all that kind of stuff. It's basically preparing so when everyone walks into the location, we can just go, you're going there, you're going there, you're there, this is for this, tea tables here, like tea and coffee's here, all the bins are scattered about. Like that's kind of the whole plan. That's the very basic level of it. Some of them you will have like a team and go the day before and they'll prep everything so you can just walk into the location the next day, but that's for like a lot bigger locations. And then when they start turning over, you will basically be there to support the shoot. That can include making sure that the joke that we always say is bins and bogs, to make sure that the bins are empty and the toilets are clean. So that's us. Making sure like pedestrians, public, making sure that they aren't going to walk through the back of shop, make sure that nothing's happening that shouldn't happen. If there are questions about the location, they'll come to us like, hey, can we stick this on the wall? Hey, can I put a nail in here? Hey, can we get this door closed? Can we get this door held open? Can we get this? We're going to put haze in here. Can we get the smoke alarm switched off? Like, that's just like very small different things, like those kinds of things.
It's kind of like delegating like the sort of smaller tasks to, but like again, that are so essential.
Yeah.
On this sort of thing, yeah.
It's like if you go to a location, you want to put haze in there, and your smoke alarms go off, and the fire brigade turn up, then it's gonna halt you. It's gonna halt you shooting pretty quickly when there's a smoke alarm and a fire alarm going off for an hour straight. So, but yeah, it's like all those kinds of stuff. Basically, it's just like the little, and like noise as well. Like, hey, I can hear a banging, I can hear this, I can hear that. It's all that kind of that stuff. Basically, we're basically a point of call for location and anything else. But a lot of the time, it's like we travel around a lot. Like we'll try and get ahead, so someone will try and go to the location for tomorrow. Like it's constantly moving, unless we're at a location for like 2 weeks straight. Then it kind of like is a nice like chilled period. But for the most part, the ball is and the cogs are constantly ticking over and moving. And then once you wrap, we basically have to everything we've put up and put out, we take back down, ready for the next day to do it all again somewhere else. Because a lot of the times you will do a location a day, and you'll just 5 locations a week. Possibly more.
Sick, man.
Crazy.
It's there's so much like, yeah. It's the other thing as well is like coming from someone who I've done some on set stuff, very limited on set stuff though, and I have a 9 to 5 in an office, so I almost like it's really interesting to sort of hear the perspective of this. Like, how do you
long days?
Long day. Like, what's your average working day?
So in the TV and film industry, you have 3 different types of days. I don't even know if we've had this conversation before. You have
I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Continuous working days, semi-continuous working days, and standard working days. Basically, each of them are. It essentially changes depending on how much of a lunch break you get and how much time you get on camera. So, continuous working day is a 2-hour running lunch. So that is grab lunch when you can, and that is usually a 9-hour shooting day, 10-hour shooting day. I think it's 9. No, yeah, it's 9. Semi-continuous is typically, is 30-minute lunch break, and it's 9.5 hours on camera.
Mm-hmm.
A standard working day is an hour lunch break, and it's 10 hours on camera. And usually there's different things that come into account. It's like, how much can you service lunch? If you have loads of extra crew and loads of extra like extras and all that kind of stuff, you're going to tend to do standard working days so you can get everyone fed in the hour lunch break and stuff. So, but my typical, again, it completely depends. Like it can swing from the one good thing about locations, if you're willing to graft, not to like bring money into it, but we make
it all comes back to money. All roads lead to
pound signs. We make good money from our overtime if you have productions that are willing to pay the overtime, and basically that is like my contract will be a typical contracts are 10+1. So if I do a 10-hour day, my overtime will start when I work 11 hours, which I know is crazy, but that's just that. If it's a 10-hour shooting day, like I either don't get paid for my hour pre-call, I don't get paid for an hour's overtime. That's just how it works. But it's still like good money. Like some jobs it'll be time and a half. Some jobs it will be if you go a minute over, you'll get paid the full hour. Like it's that kind of stuff. Rates change whether it's on camera overtime, whether it's like D-rig or rigging overtime. Like there's so many different things that go into it. Yeah. Completely depends on the production. Like completely depends on the production. But
how do you sort of? This is just an interesting thing, and I think like I'm aware of this, but I'm sort of asking the question more on behalf of the listeners, viewers. In terms of like, how do you manage your life around that? Because like,
you don't. It because like this is
which is the answer I was thinking.
it becomes your life when you are on a job. The job that I've just done that we can't talk about, which I'm so sorry we can't talk about.
Yeah, I'm so sorry we can't even mention what it is.
My first week, I did 14-hour days every day, minimum. Actually, that's a lie. I think the shortest day I had was 13 and a half.
So you were, I'm not going to say where you were, but you were not at home.
Yeah, I was somewhere else.
You were somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, so where were you staying? What do you do when you do that? Because obviously you live in the northeast.
I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. You do know that. You do.
I do know. If you're going to tell me what I think you don't, again, I'm being interviewer here. Look, I'm asking you questions for the benefit of the viewers and listeners. We have definitely had this conversation. What with locations specifically, we're going to go into the even wider. Like, slow me down if this starts getting confusing. So, locations has I'm going to call it an umbrella department called. Basically the unit team. And the unit team is basically... Don't get excited, Doctor Who fans.
Guys, don't get excited, okay? But the unit team basically... they basically organise the logistics for everything at a... Like, logistics as in, like, the more technical logistics. So, for example, if I go to a location and I have 12, let's say 15-ton trucks, right? All of them with batteries that need power charging, all of them that need power. How the like, I ain't plugging that into a wall, my guy. Like, it's basically it's how do you it's the technical and the what's the word, like the organization side of it. It's basically, where's everything going to go? Where's all the trucks going to go? How are you going to get power to them? How are the generators getting here? All that kind of stuff. Like, organizing how often the bin tippet. I know some of it sounds so dull. Like, how often do the bin tippets get changed? How often do we need the toilets to be switched out? All that kind of stuff. Making sure all the kit that we're using, all of it goes off, but also all of it comes back correctly, so you don't get charged. All this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. A lot more technical than creative, which locations do. Later down the line, locations does go into a lot more of the creative side of it. To be honest, I've completely sidetracked of what we. Oh, okay. So
you completely did, yeah.
So as a part of this, you will have a unit base, which is basically where all of your trailers go on a morning. It's where the caterers are set up, and where Cast will go and get ready on a morning. Mm-hmm. Where the crew will meet on a morning to get breakfast, where the production will be based. So if you need to speak to production, you go there. Where the AD office is based, where they basically do all the behind the scenes stuff. That all happens on a unit base. Mm-hmm. So some people in locations, to make it easier and also to make it cheaper and to save money, they will buy something or make something that allows them to stay on base, whether it's a camper van. I've bought a Tourer caravan. I'll put a photo up somewhere here on the screen.
I'd love to see a photo of it.
I know. You've seen it, yeah.
No,
yeah.
but I mean, on the podcast episode.
I'll put the photo. Yeah. I'll put the photo up of it when I used it on my last job. And basically,
you haven't told me too much about it though. I think you've shown me when you bought it.
I've shown the photos. That's the first time I'd used it. Well, the first proper time I'd used it. So I bought this at the end of All Creatures Great and Small. Had to get a tow bar on my car. So now whenever I go and work, instead of paying whatever I would pay for, whether it's renting a room or hotels or whatever, I can just go, hey, can I put the caravan on base? Yep, there's some power. It's a bed. So
amazing.
Which when I'm doing 14-hour days, I'm not being funny. The last thing I want to do is like, it's all I do is sleep. Yeah. Like, because it becomes your life.
It's what it needs to be. Yeah. When you're working that long, you don't need somewhere where you're going to be able to do stuff. It's like, it's a great little idea. I'd never even considered the possibility of that, and it's such a good idea. Though,
I know people who
save money as well.
Yeah, I know people who have bought little vans and converted like the back of Vitos and all that kind of stuff. Like,
absolutely.
I know people who bought tent boxes, put tent boxes on the top of their cars, like all that kind of stuff. Like, there's so many options.
That's fab.
There's so many options, and it was when it got brought to me and was like, there's you could buy this, and I was in a position too. I was like, it's a no-brainer. Like, it will, in the long run, it will save me so much money, and I can do a job or a decent length of job, and I'll pay it off straight away. Like, that was the kind of consideration I had. And obviously also, like, outside of work, it's a great thing for me and my girlfriend to be able to go away and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, like, that job was the first time I'd had it out for a night before that. I had it out the week before for a night, and then got offered this job and was like, well, hopefully it's fine because I need it for 3 weeks. So yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So your standard sort of out, like, organising your life around it. Then you're working, and then it's caravan.
I have a not great work-life balance. Like, once I finish work, it's not a bad work-life balance. Like, I have a lot of good time off. I think it's good. I
think this is the thing that it's hard to recognise. Like, again, very different sort of day-to-days for like compared to what I do. So for me, it's like I will work the hours that I am like allotted to work. I know these are going to be my hours every Monday to Friday for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So I know what time the tubes run. I know what time I'll be home by the minute. I know what time I need to leave to get there just on time. I know, like, how much time I get, and I get, like, my evenings and I get my weekends. That's very whereas yourself, with this sort of work, whether it's locations or whether it's any sort of film job, it's very much like you are working non-stop in a bulk, and then you get a bit of time off.
Yeah, it's very
I don't know. It's not bad, though.
It does become your life, unfortunately. Like, even outside of work, when we meet up, we will talk about work. Like it very much becomes that. I don't feel like, I know like there's people who be like, oh my god, you're such a bad work-life balance, but to me it doesn't negatively affect me. Like I'd have good time off. I'd do whatever I want on my time off. Like
you also enjoy the job.
I also love my job. Like
so that's also a huge part of it.
I love every single second of my job.
If you love what you do,
you'll
never work a day in your life.
Exactly, that is like my life motto.
On heroin.
Probably, yeah. Probably weren't the TV and film industry, to be fair. But yeah, like I love my job and I love everything that comes with it. And like I said, I wanted to be an AD for so long, and then did like one full job on locations. I was like, this is pretty good. And then did my second job, and I was like, hook, line, and sinker. They call it the dark side. They call it the dark side. Like
who the fuck is they?
Like we call it the dark side.
Oh right.
Like there are so many people who want to be ADs, and then they do one job on locations. You're like, damn. It's like fully like they always say like you will, and you need to join the dark side. The location is the dark side. It's just so fun.
Yeah, you seem. Yeah. But I know like I know you. And I know
this is the thing as well. You knew me while I was at uni, and I hated university. And me and my girlfriend had this conversation yesterday. Like it's like how I was at uni doing something that, like my work-life balance was horrific at uni. Like it took every hour of every waking day to get me to do stuff. Whereas now it's like, they asked me to work a 60. Hey, I'll work a 60. Like, I'll work Saturday, like, because I enjoy it. Like, and it's like, it's those things. I think it's also because there are so many franchises and so many different things that are a part of this industry that it would be a pleasure to work on. It would be a pleasure to see how the machines move and how like, it's so cool talking to people and they're like, oh, what jobs have you done? You're like, oh yeah, I've done Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, I've done Avengers Doomsday, I've done all this kind of stuff. Like it's just so cool. Like it's such a great, and also I think it's cool to talk about. Like I don't have a normal job, so when people ask me, I enjoy talking about it because people get so much entertainment out of listening to what I worked on, because it's not like you how often do you get to walk down the street and you're like, hey, what do you do for work? And they're like, oh yeah, I worked on this AAA multi-billion-dollar movie. Like it's so cool.
So talking of that, can we say can we get out of the way everything you're allowed to say about Peaky Blinders?
It shot last year. Cillian Murphy said it's finished. That's all I have to say about that.
Bro said less than Cillian Murphy said publicly.
That's all I have to say about it. But those shackles aren't broken yet.
No, they're not. But you worked on that. The Peaky Blinders.
I did 10 days
movie.
On it. That was literally a year ago. Probably like nearly to the day, actually, was probably when I worked on it. That was in Liverpool. Very good. I hadn't seen Peaky Blinders. So, again, horrific work-life balance. I was working throughout the day, going back to my hotel and watching Peaky Blinders on the night time.
Amazing.
So again...
do we record a podcast episode while you were doing that?
Yes, we did.
So you can probably trace it back, actually, can't you? Which I don't know when it would have been. Oh God!
I think there
was one. Didn't you record? I'm sure you recorded one on like it felt. It we did. We've done.
That one was when I was on All Creatures.
Ah, I see.
That was whilst I was on. That was in Mel. Okay. That was in the girl I was staying with. That was in her bedroom that I filmed. that one.
Right.
Okay. That was that. But we did record on when I was in the Maldron Hotel in Liverpool.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, yeah. I do. Yeah, I remember that. That was a bit. Yeah.
Because I forgot to change my mic server.
Yeah. Oh.
I feel like it was a Star Wars episode.
It probably was.
I think it was a review of some sort or an announcement. I can't remember. We did definitely record one though.
On the topic of like then, so you sort of like people asking you about your job. You really love talking about it, something. There's a lot of people in the industry who I think anyone you meet in the industry loves to name drop things they've worked on. So my next question I think to you is what is on your dream list of things you'd like to work on? And on these, what would you like to sort of do in it? Would you be interested in doing location, or would you sort of be interested in something else?
So for me, currently, I like to set goals, I've discovered. So I have like immediate goals and I have long-term goals. So immediate goal, because it's like, as much as it's classed as a head of department, there are places you can go from it. Like when we were talking about the unit stuff before, I would like to unit manage. I would like to do all that organization stuff. That slightly changes depending on the size of job you do, because the roles shift, and the like on bigger feature films you will have an entire unit team, so that includes like, that would be like 5 people: unit manager, assistant unit manager, unit assistants, whatever. Smaller jobs, stuff like TV dramas, Orchestras Great and Small, I Thought, all that kind of stuff, it's literally just a one person. It's just a unit manager. So the job slightly shifts depending on the size. I would like to unit manage as a whole currently, and I would like to do that within the next like 3 years. Like, we'll see what happens within the next couple of years, like before I'm 30, and then from then on, I think by that point I'll be ready to I will maybe have kind of, my thing at the moment is like, I think kind of coming out of what I did for my degree, I'm so like technically focused, like organization side of it, coming from a science background, and I feel like I need to work back up to, because I was so creative when I was younger, I need to work back to kind of building back up my creative bone, and kind of,
but that's what working on short films will do for you as well.
Like writing in D&D, that kind of stuff, working with location man. Like, I'm so lucky that I know my location manager so well, and like I feel so confident and comfortable asking him questions about anything, and that's like kind of slowly, gradually building that back up to be able to go and do scouting and go and find locations and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's kind of like the immediate goal. Bigger like dream jobs is like, I'd like to do a DC, I'd like to do a Marvel, I'd like to do a Star Wars, obviously. Like, I'd like to do, like, the ones that I've been fans of for the whole time. I'd love to work DCU, I'd love to work on some sort of Marvel project, whether that's something in the near future, something post-Renaissance, whatever. Star Wars would be, like, the ultimate, like, I've openly said that I could work on a Star Wars and die happy. So
I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah, like, I could work on a Star Wars and die happy, but I'd love to work in locations with it. Like, I'd love to do like the unit or the location side of it. Definitely.
Is there anything that's like in sort of coming up, or there's films or TV shows that have been announced that you're like, I would kill to work on that?
What's been announced? Let's have a think.
Because there's like the stuff out there, isn't there, from these like big franchises where it's like, okay, for example,
Superman would be cool. So Batman would be cool.
So okay, yeah.
So like Batman, Secret Wars,
Batman Part 2.
Batman Part 2.
If that film's in Liverpool, because that's where the first film was filmed.
Yeah.
If that film's in Liverpool, that'll be obviously a UK thing. Would you be?
I would probably
be running for that.
Yeah, I'd definitely try and find, because that's the good thing as well. Like, when you start to build your network up.
Yeah.
Like you will find out what people are working on. Like, it's not very hard to find out what people are working on, if that makes sense. It's all about word of mouth. If you work hard, passed on. That's exactly how it works.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like the Batman Part 2 would be great. Avengers Secret War would be mint, because I think Avengers Doomsday is finished now.
Yes.
Star Wars, the Rey movie would be pretty cool if that shoots in the UK.
That's gonna be
if that shoots in the UK. But then that's the thing. It's like, the only downside of that is there's not a lot of. They don't do as much on location.
That's true. So then
because
is that
of
more of that,
the logistics
that's like
behind
a unit
of it.
manager thing by then.
Yeah,
or
that's like,
part
but
of
then
a
you
unit
like
team maybe.
Yeah, and then like studio teams and stuff like that. And I've done studio jobs. They pay bills. That's all. That's what I'll say.
Are you wanting to go back into like an AD direction? Do you think?
I don't know. Eventually? To be honest, I genuinely don't. Like, I truly don't know. Like that's kind of my thing. Is like, I think I enjoy it. I'd like to get to a position where I can go straight up to being like a third AD or like a second AD. I wouldn't like to go all the way back to the beginning and start off as a runner again and build my way back
annoying.
up. Like, I think I would still like to third AD and first AD, but at the moment, like, I'm very much hook, line, and sinker with locations, and I love it a lot, as you can tell. But yeah, like, stuff that I'm passionate about is what I would like to work on. The Elden Ring movie, my God, I will kill. I would actually kill to work on the Elden Ring movie.
You have to keep saying it.
Yeah, like it's those. It's
actually convinced you would commit murder for that.
Projects that I am passionate about outside of whatever it is. That's the kind of the end goal They're like the end game jobs. They're like the bucket list jobs for me.
Fab. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously we've got I Fought the Law, which we talked about. Peaky Blinders, which we've said everything we can say about it.
Yeah.
Tell me about All Creatures.
All Creatures was a very good job. It was completely... All Creatures is a different... Like, it's a completely different type of locating because it's in the middle of nowhere. Like, you city locating is completely different because the logistics side of it's so much different. Whereas when you are literally in the middle of nowhere shooting in fields, like, you have to make space for things. Like, you have to take into consideration, what if it rains the day before and I can't, and like the whole location becomes a marsh and I can't put anything anywhere. Like, they're the kinds of things that you have to take into account. Like, you have to take into account having no phone service. You have to take into account, the nearest like public space is like a 20-minute drive away. The nearest unit base, our unit base, at a minimum is going to be a 25-minute drive away. Like, it's all there's an extra level to it. I really enjoyed it because it was driving pickup trucks and going off-roading, and like I enjoyed that side of it. It was very cool. But again, it's like there's just, you got to take extra precaution. You got to carry more kit. You just got to be on the ball a little bit more.
Was it filmed in the moors?
Yorkshire.
Then
Dales.
Moors. Yorkshire Dales, right? I see.
Dales.
Lovely, like,
yeah, so like
scenery,
Harrogate, Grassington, those kinds of areas. I mean, you can Google all the locations. Grassington's obsessed with it, so but yeah, like it's quite cute because, well, All Creatures is again a different kettle of fish because it is so popular with Americans. So Paramount actually fund half of a big percentage of All Creatures. So you will go to basically the village called Grassington where they filmed the main stuff. And you will go, there's a dog grooming business called All Dogs Great and Small. There's housing called Siegfried's whatever, who's the main character. Like, everything has some sort of like, every shop's got
while then. So it's
sixth season we've just done.
Wow, okay.
It started, I think, 2020, like around lockdown time.
See.
But they are very proud that the first time we shot in Grassington, we had 200 people turn up to watch. Wow. In a very small village in the countryside. I would be like, I'd go and like, you'd hear American accents. And the first, I remember being on like a lock of like Stop in the Public, and I was like, I have to ask, like, you are clearly from America. And they were like, oh yeah, we absolutely love the show. We've come to visit, okay? And we've extended our holiday because we knew you were shooting.
So ridiculous.
Like,
Well, it's funny because it's so funny because we're literally having the conversation at work today. My boss, Casey, she's from America.
Yeah.
And we were talking about shows. She's watched like UK shows. Vera came up, which is very weird for an American to be watching.
That's the one thing I'm so gutted I never got to work on Vera. I feel like being a Geordie filmmaker and not being able to work on Vera, I feel like I've missed out.
It's like, you feel like you haven't quite got all the Infinity.
It's like a badge of honour.
Yeah, a little bit. And she brought up All Creatures, Great and Small. But I didn't. I clocked that it was
funny you say that.
I was like, because I looked it up and then I saw 2020 and I thought, it's probably not the same thing. But then now I'm realising, I'm like, no, it is that.
New season's just started airing. It started like last week or the week before.
Madness.
All Creatures is one of those shows where it's like, I didn't think I'd enjoy it, and then we would sometimes like watch it after work, like watch an episode or two because we hadn't watched any of it, just to be like, what are we actually filming? And we were like, you know what? It's actually not too bad. It's very much like old people TV. Like, it is every episode is the same kind of structure, but it's a very nice watch. It's very wholesome. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, when they do the driving scenes for the Dales, like, it looks amazing. All the locations look stunning. So, yeah. And again, they have an entire studio built on like an industrial estate in Yorkshire. That's crazy.
Must be quite a fucking profitable show then, because I've never heard of it until you'd worked on it. So I was like, oh, wow.
I knew about it because it's based on a book series.
Yeah.
And it's a remake as well.
So there's one from like the
60s or something, 60s or 70s, and it's like the original one. Could be older, to be fair.
I think it's actually newer because it's starring Peter Davison of Doctor Who fame, of course.
Is it?
I just saw his young-looking face there. Probably 70s, 80s probably.
Yeah, so it's around that era, and then they've remade it. But
Yeah.
again, it's like it's
So
very
sweet.
cute, it's very quaint. But Americans love it because American TV shows, you have nothing like that. You don't have the
So
old
true.
stone houses. You don't have running fields of moors. You don't have people
So true.
pulling lambs out of sheep's not arses, but you know what I mean. What do you mean by that?
I'm just gonna let you
yeah.
sink in that.
Yeah, I mean, you kids, there are literal episodes of like,
Yeah.
I one of
Am
my
I
friends,
watching now?
someone who I worked with, was doing. So you do a letter drop before you go to location. You're like, hey, we're coming to film. These are the dates. And she was like knocking on farms, and she knocked on the door and was like, oh, we're coming to film. She was like, oh, sorry, just leave it there. One of my sheep are giving birth, so I need to run away. And Mel, who I worked with, she was like, can I come and watch? And they were like, yeah,
Oh my god.
like, because it's all you shoot through lambing season. So it's a
Right.
nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare.
Oh god.
Because not a single farmer will answer their phone during lambing season because they're just out in the fields 24/7. But again, I learned so much about farming, like speaking to farmers and working with farmers
That's
and
what
stuff
it's
like that.
about,
You
innit?
learn so much about
That's what
it.
it's about. That's what it's about, like learning about people and like I just love that. I love that element of it.
Just driving through fields and pickup trucks, and it's cool. Like it's
a
quite
bit
a
like being
nice
back in
like.
Scouts again.
But that's what I'm saying. This is why I loved it because it reminded me of being back in Scouts. Like I was in walking boots and wellies all
Should do a
day,
Scouts
every
episode
day.
at some
Like
point, shouldn't we?
it properly, like it really felt. That's why I really enjoyed the job because it was. I knew I would enjoy it anyway, but it was properly like my type of location. Like it was just nice. And even on weekends, like when my girlfriend would come visit, we did Malham Cove, we did Gore Hill
nice.
Scar, we did
You do a
loads of
little
the
bit
other
of
walks
the-
around there. Being there
Nice.
anyway, having accommodation there, it's perfect.
It's like a little holiday.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Like because I had a week off as well during it, so it was like and bank holidays and all that kind of stuff. Like because it runs all the way through Easter, so you get all the Easter bank holidays. Like it was great.
And then
Yeah.
Transaction as well.
Transaction, I did November, December last year. This was after I did Peaky Blinders.
Okay.
So I did I Fought the Law, Peaky's for 10 days, did Transaction, and then did All Creatures at the start of this year. Transaction was good. Transaction was different because it was...
Is it a comedy? Is it a drama? I'm trying to work out.
So it was an ITV comedy.
Okay.
Good comedy, very funny. It's a very on the nose comedy. It's very like you will either like it or you won't. It's quite
Okay. Yeah. Bit
not.
Marmite.
I don't not. It's not a It's not a political comedy, but it's fun. Do you know what? It's funny. I've watched it. I quite enjoyed it. But that was different because it was a 5-week shoot, but only 1 week out on location. So the first week we were out on location, and then all the rest of it was studio.
Right.
So
you just did the location stuff, of course.
It's
and then...
basically it's based in a supermarket. So a lot of the times with smaller
I was
jobs.
sort of
yeah,
a little bit like, how is that going to
they
work?
built the entire supermarket interior in the studio space in Hartlepool. They built all the offices, all the like corridors and staff rooms and stuff. That was all built. And then it was just like exteriors that they built the exterior as well. They built the front of the supermarket as well. So and it looks
Impressive,
great.
Yeah.
But so there wasn't that much locate and stuff like. But with that, we basically pivoted and just became a studio team. But again, that was different because the studio we were shooting in November, December had no heating system. So we had to come up with our own entire heating system. And then you go into the laws of power and how electricity work, how electricals work, and trying not to blow stuff off and trying not to trip fuses and all that kind of stuff. Like there's another subsection to it then again where you have to kind of be a spark and you have to kind of be like an electrical person and start dealing with all of this stuff. Like there was loads of different stuff that went into it, but that became a studio management job. And like I said, like it's good, it pays the bills, but it's not like I find it quite hard when I don't have much to do. In studio jobs, we don't really have much to do. Like, I don't want it to come across like I'm being lazy. I'm quite conscious about that. So,
It's fair.
and in the studio, there just wasn't really much to do. Again, good job, turned out great. Sets looked fantastic, and it was a funny job. Like, it was all set in the all shot in the northeast, all northeast crew, lovely crew. Like, so
It's good to see the Northeast film industry doing something because it was practically non-existent really when I sort of moved down to London.
Yeah, I mean Vera carried it. Vera's carried it for a long
Vera was
time.
the Northeast, film industry. I haven't. Just to sort of round it off, I think probably like on a roundup question, unless there's anything else you want to sort of mention. For me, again, talking about like Vera, just sort of jokingly there, actually, there's not many things that are sort of filmed in the Northeast. There is definitely like a drive to make the Northeast, like the film industry, bigger and better. There is news of potentially a Biker Grove remake coming. Would you work on that?
Yeah. Bear in mind that my location manager was the last location manager on Biker Grove. I'd hope I'd have a good chance of working on it.
Bear in mind your fucking dad was in it.
And my dad was in it, so I'd hope I'd have a good running to work on.
I was again,
Bikers been on the cards for the last like 3 years. Like it's there. It's just never been. It's just nothing's ever been. It's been announced that it's happening. It's just nothing's ever happened since.
Do you feel somewhat passionate about the idea of an up and coming Northeast film sort of industry?
I'm confident. Like I want it to. Like this year I've worked a lot out of the region this year. Like I haven't actually done a full job in the region. I think I've done.
Because there isn't much going on, that's the thing.
I've done two. Well, I've done a day. As of today, I've done a day in the region of work.
Jesus.
So there's not been, but that's a knock-on effect for the whole country's been like that. The UK this year has had a really bad knock-on effect from the strikes because America had it last year. The UK's had it this year. Like the UK, like only within the second half of the year, has everything picked back up. The Northeast was supposed to have a lot at the start of this year, but it all got pulled. It all got pushed. Like there are so many things that got delayed or completely just disappeared. Like it was really, really bad. I'm hopeful. Like it does feel sometimes that it's like swings and roundabouts. Like some days it's like, oh, it's going to be the best thing ever. And then something will happen the next day. And it'll be like, it's just and that's the current cycle. Northeast Screen are trying they are grafting their arses off to get as much as they can up into the region. There's so much funding. There's so much funding for sending people out of the region to be like, hey, go and work on this, bring the experience back. Hey, if you do this here, we'll give you this amount of money. We will put this amount of money into this program. Like, there's so much stuff going on. It's hard because obviously there's the studio in Sunderland, which everyone has their opinion on and everything like that. Like, it's a very difficult situation. I want it to pick up. Like, I want Newcastle and stuff to get those jobs because I think we are in a very good place. I think that like stuff like Manchester, Liverpool is good because the architecture is fantastic. Yeah, Manchester's great because you are very close to all these different places. It's quite a good hub, and it has very good studios. Newcastle is good because not only does I think it has the architecture for certain projects, it just needs a little bit more pushed into some studio spaces. Like 20 years later, they filmed everything up here.
28 years later, obviously, like look at that. Probably one of the biggest shifts, I think, in terms of. I think we're very aware of it. I don't know of many people from our school, for example, who have went into like the film industry or been interested in developing a career in the film industry enough to sort of be like. So I just find it interesting towards you because it's like there's a lot of people of your dad's generation. I'm sure your dad included as well, where it's like people who work in the Northeast, who are from the Northeast, who work in film, who are really passionate about this sort of up and coming idea of an industry in the Northeast. Yeah, it sort of takes time, but then 28 years later must have been fucking massive. I was a bit disappointed watching the film and watching him walk away from Newcastle. I was like, no, come back, man.
That's the thing. It's like there's so many things, but again, there's so much in 20 years later that you wouldn't have realised was still filmed in the Northeast. Like Holy Island was used so much for it. Like
Holy Island, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like Newcastle not only does it have the architecture for certain stuff, but also you are a stone's throw away from very good places. You've got the whole Northumberland coast, which you've got Bamburgh Castle, Alnwick Castle, which have had the likes of
Indiana Jones was recently as well, wasn't it? Dial of
Indiana
Destiny
Jones,
filmed at Bamburgh Castle, yeah.
You've got Harry Potter filmed at Alnwick Castle so many times back in the day. Like there are so many different projects that have used these different places. Like like the CBC shows filmed it. Like if you want castles, we are the region for it because we have that many. They've all been used a plethora of different times, but they all look like they all look fantastic. But then you're also stone's throw away from the Lake District. Yeah, you've got Carlisle. Like you've got the whole A69 stretch. Like there's
Scotland either, you know, as well.
Not far from Scotland. Like literally, you were an hour from the Scottish border. Like it's a great hub. It just needs the infrastructure, the hub infrastructure to be able to use it as this base to then go outwards. Because currently places are doing it in like Manchester going outwards or London. A lot of things, bigger projects now are doing a lot of their studio stuff in London and then doing a couple of weeks or a couple of months up north and then finishing back off in London.
Interesting.
So there's a lot.
Right.
But I'd love one day for it to be another hub.
Yeah. I think it'd be great. And I think I'll probably just bias because it's where we come from, but I definitely think it's a place that I think could absolutely like do with that industry, and I think the industry would do quite well up there. There's so many variations. I mean, as you say, you're not from like probably the centre of town in Newcastle. You can be like 10-20 minutes from the coast, 10-20 minutes from like city. You're in the city centre. 10-20 minutes from like a council estate. 10-20 minutes from
that's what I'm saying. Like
Ponteland. 10-20 minutes from moors and like nature and like woodlands and castles, and there's so many places just like scattered around like Newcastle and the northeast of England.
To go full circle, like I thought the law kind of shows that very well, because you have like we use Newcastle Crown Court for like police officers and all that kind of stuff. You've got Durham Cathedral for the Parliaments in London. You've got a council estate. You've got so many other different things. You've got a pizza shop exterior. You've got lovely, amazing beach scenes. You've got like just fantastic different things in different parts of the region that got used. Like another bucket list is I'd love to do a job in a castle. Like I'd love to do a job at Bamburgh Castle or like an Alnwick Castle.
That'd be great. I think
like there's so many different things.
It's a nice way to like round it up. I think I have one final question.
Go on.
And I think it's something I really want to ham home whenever we do an episode where we talk about the film industry. Because I've listened to so many podcasts and shows and stuff like that as someone growing up who wanted to get into the film industry. They sort of talk about their experiences, they talk about the sort of day-to-day, and they talk about what it's like and yada yada. How, like, if I was a viewer sat at home, and if I was a listener sat at home, and I was like, okay, I want to go into locations, or I want to try and aim towards AD or sort of unit management, what would I do now in the next 10 minutes, in the next half an hour? How easy is it? How could I sign up? Where could I look?
There's some amazing like entry, like certain departments are always looking. Like locations is a very good entry level department because we have marshalling days where we have like 40 extra people in, and we are like constantly looking. Like and there's quite like an absence of marshals at the moment because it is starting to pick back up and there are some bigger projects going on. Like we could ring 200 people and get 20 people to confirm that they're available. Yeah. Like the some great ways are like Facebook groups. Like genuinely go on if you have a Facebook account, go on Facebook and Google location department like jobs, and you'll find Facebook groups where people will post, I need this, I need that. I've got jobs from it. I've got marshalling jobs and days from it. Just that's probably the number one I'd give people. The number two is the hardest part is getting your foot in the door. The hardest part is to meet someone or to find someone. If you're at university, I've said this before, just take every opportunity by both hands if you really want to do it. The other way is to get in touch with your local film office. We have Northeast Screen, you have Liverpool Film Office, Manchester Film Office. Get in touch with them and say, hey, I want to get in the industry. What do I need to do? They can guide you to a plethora of different places. They might have a trainee program, which is what Northeast Screen had for me. Other one is to apply for Screen Skills. Screen Skills are a trainee, like a countrywide trainee program where productions will get trainees off of Screen Skills because of how funding works and all that kind of stuff. That's a little bit more. You have to apply for that and go through like an interview process and stuff to get into that. But again, it's a good place to start. It's 100% worth looking at and worth applying for, or even. There's a lot of things as
well. There's a lot of things as well. So that off the back of like college courses and stuff like that, the trainee schemes are something to look out for. I know like the BFI as well has a lot of boasts a lot of trainee connections to look at as well. But yeah, great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for that, Cooper. Really interesting. And I think it's Go on.
Final thing is like when I was talking about the film offices and stuff, like film offices will sometimes as well on bigger jobs. If we're looking for marshals or they're looking for people to come in for dailies, they'll go to the film office and be like, hey, like send us a list of people that you want us to take on. And then we'll basically get in touch with you being like, hey, we need you. Are you available? And that kind of stuff. Like it's hard. Like it's not easy, but there are ways to do it. And it's just, if you're willing to put yourself out, patient, and if you're willing to put yourself out there. And when you get onto a job, just make sure that you are like remembered and that you graft your arse off, because I promise you that it gets noticed.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, mate. I appreciate this. It's been good. Have you enjoyed talking about?
I've enjoyed
your project.
I hate having to be so secretive about certain stuff. Like, it'll be cool to do one in another year's time.
I think
to be like, hey,
the thing we can't talk about will easily be its own episode when we get to that.
I'd look for. It would be interesting to do another one of these like in a year's time and be like, hey, where are we another year's? Because I judge my career by like I started in July. So my year is like July to July. I don't do by like tax year or January to December. Like mine is July to July. So I looked at myself at this July and was like, okay, where am I? Where do I want to be next July? And then next year I'll go, okay, where am I now? Where do I want to be next July? Like that kind of stuff. So
nice idea.
I'd be interested to do it that way. Yeah.
We'll have a look at that. Yeah, definitely. Like a little sort of yearly Cooper catch up.
Yeah.
Where you at, my guy?
Yeah.
Let's do our Just News segment.
Come on then.
Let me pull it up. Let's have a look. What have we got today from the Metro? Not the Metro. Just Metro. Get off the Metro now!
Get off the fucking Metro. No.
So this is actually, I'm completely coincidentally making a Metro reference because this is actually about the Tube, this story.
Oh.
Parrot found at Waterloo Station won't stop making Tube announcements.
Banger. Change them all. Change them all.
A pet parrot flew off on a 2-day holiday before being found at London Waterloo Station, and he now can't stop making Tube announcements. Gray, the 2-year-old African grey parrot, very original name, mate. Good, that's good. It's like calling a dog, isn't it? Was discovered on a rough sleeper's shoulder some 25 miles away from his home in Tadworth, Surrey. He now hilariously tells Carleen Boyce and her family to keep left, squawks tannoy announcements, and whistles like a train going along the
so
tracks.
Good.
Brilliant.
That is so good.
That would wind me up to no end if I was commuting.
There's a video.
Oh, no, is there? Oh, hang on. I'm going straight to the video. I'm going straight to the video. Oh, there's an advert. I'm being told to join a house raffle. Hang on. What? I can't hear. He's not doing train noises though. He's just sort of talking bollocks.
Good. Very cool.
Let's have a look. Gray settled himself in a tree and wouldn't come back down when they offered him food or left his cage in the garden. He stayed put for a day and the family weren't too worried until he got spooked by another bird and disappeared. The heartbroken family posted about their lost parrot on Facebook. That's probably the video that they posted. But suddenly the family got a shock of their lives when Callum spotted Gray on the British Transport Police's Twitter page. The forced Twitter urgent tweet, officers came across a missing parrot today at Waterloo Station. If this parrot is yours, or you know someone who has lost theirs, please get in touch ASAP. Became great friends with the 2 officers who found him with the rough sleeper. Nothing more about the rough sleeper. That's a bit sad. Could have given him a bit of money or something, couldn't you? Shocking. She added, we were in absolute shock of where he was, but I knew it was him straight away because he's got some quite distinctive markings. He spent the night in a safe house, mostly unharmed. Not a single video. She added, he's been talking and chatting loads. He's just back to his normal self. Couldn't ask for more. But he has done the Tube bing bong noise a few times and keeps telling us to keep left.
Good. I like that.
I wish there was a video of him actually doing this at the Tube.
That is true. Missed opportunity there.
I'm
sure those parrots are a fortune as well, you know.
Yeah, parrots must be quite expensive.
I'm sure that
a fucking parrot.
Oh god, absolutely not.
Imagine trying to record a podcast episode and everything you say is being repeated.
What's up, guy?
Yeah, if you had a parrot in your room, it'd be going, welcome back to a brand new episode. Welcome back to a brand new episode.
It's like this impression that I've been hearing about. Is that?
Yeah, that's pretty much spot on, actually. Yeah.
Hit the nail on the head there.
Oh, well, thank you so much for watching today's episode of Nostalgia Bit. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment below. If you're watching on YouTube, of course, do subscribe to our channel. And if you're on Spotify or any other streaming platform, give us a follow, give us a hearty 5-star review, as you do know, it really does help. That's pretty much it from us. If you want to check out our social medias, Cooper, you occasionally post about your film stuff, don't you?
Yes, I do sometimes. I usually give really cryptic tweets about stuff that I'm working on, so and if stuff to come out, I will as well.
So if you want to see more cryptic tweets from Cooper and try to work them out like you're trying to decode the Zodiac Killer, then follow him on Twitter and Instagram.
Surprise, guys! That's my next one.
Yeah. See you all next week. Bye bye.